Hey everybody, Dave Lane, Counselor at Large here, and I'd like to talk to you a bit about Metrobus fares. It's been in the news past couple of weeks as we get closer to our budget on December 12th that we have a proposed fare increase per ride from $2.25 to $2.50. And that's got a lot of people talking because even a quarter on a ride fare can mean a lot to some people, particularly a lot of people that rely on the bus to get around and live their daily lives. So we've had a lot of discussion in public, obviously, but we were lucky, or fortunate enough, I should say, to be able to sit down as a council yesterday and really hash out the issue. So here's what happened. Basically, in October, we had our final set of decisions to be made on a very extensive program review that we've been doing at City Hall since our last budget. And, as an aside, you're going to see a lot of good news come from that very intensive effort that has been made to look at everything we do at City Hall. How can we do it better, and how can we save taxpayer dollars in the meantime? And I think you're going to see significant savings, and you'll hopefully see that on your tax bill. Any case, the fare increase is definitely an important one, and it's not necessarily the best choice to be making at this time. So when we talked about it, I know that I went in there saying, listen, we can't do this. We can't increase the fare. As well as Councillor O'Leary, who said, I'd like to rescind that decision and find a way to cover the cost that we're saving by adding a fare increase. And of course, the Deputy Mayor had actually voted against this in the original decision at the meeting that unfortunately I wasn't at. There were two meetings, a big one that I was able to contribute to via phone when I was away, and the next one was short, and unfortunately that's where the fee increase took place. Now, I was hopeful at this meeting we could reduce it. When Councillor O'Leary tried to rescind the motion so that we could have the discussion, we were given a briefing on all the details that led to the original decision to make the increase. And there are three, key points to be made here. One is that the city has steadily been increasing the percentage of the Metrobus budget that we subsidize. So right now, since 2008 when it was 55% being subsidized by the city, now we're up to 67%. So 2/3 of Metrobus budget is being subsidized by taxpayer dollars, which isn't a bad thing. But what it does indicate is that that budget is at risk of not being sustainable. And so when we did our program review, we said, well, maybe the time is, 9 years later, to make an increase in fares. So we said, well, what do we increase it to? And we looked across Canada, and we were amongst the lowest in Canada. And $2.50 is actually still among the lowest. And it's, in fact, about dead on with the average of cities our size. So that was another part. And then the other discussion that's been taking place is that, really the key point here is that there are people who can't necessarily afford even to take those rides, and those are the ones who need it the most. So could they be subsidized? And first of all, the province does actually subsidize a lot of people by providing bus passes, about 950 actually 10 or 30 ride passes every year to people who clearly need it and can benefit from it. If the city were to add a subsidy to that, obviously we'd be paying for that. And a subsidy could be reducing rates, but again, we're talking about a budget that becomes even less sustainable. Or we could take over or mimic what the province is doing, which would require a major administrative, but certainly a cost to how do we determine who gets a subsidy and how do we get that to them. So it's something that we couldn't enact even if we decide we want to, in time for the budget. So basically there are three key points that Council was told that led to this decision and made it difficult for us to take any other course of action. So unfortunately, when we tried to rescind that motion to have the discussion, Council didn't really feel that was the best approach as a majority. So, I wasn't pleased with that, I have to say. And what I said to Council as my main points is that, first of all, this is a decision being made by people who don't feel the struggle of having to take the bus and not have a whole lot of money to do it with. So I think we should be a bit more compassionate there. Although I know I'm not speaking to people who made the decision aren't compassionate, but I think we need to dig a bit deeper. As well, There's actually a lot of things that Metrobus does do to improve their service, and a lot of efforts have been going on, including a community bus for seniors, including a lot of accessibility improvements and upgrades to the services, much of which is actually funded from programs that come from the federal government. And we're going to see a major investment coming now. But unfortunately, those funding opportunities do not cover operations or fares. So what I did say is I think that council should be a lot more informed, and the public there through that, as to what the Transportation Commission is up to. And so I've asked that we receive all the agendas in minutes, which I was kind of surprised to see that we don't get. There are councilors sitting on that commission, and as well as citizens. So should we be getting that? So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see the fares not go up in the budget. But I think that we should view this as the beginning of a renewed focus on our public transportation system. It's so integral to our daily lives, to our economy, to our society. And I'm looking forward to actually digging a bit deeper into this next year, starting today, really. And I look forward to you joining me in that, because although there is a lot being done at Metrobus, A, we're not aware of it, and B, we need to know and be a part of that discussion so we know we're making the right decisions. So hopefully this is just a blip, and hopefully we can find ways to offset the costs that people will have to bear, but unfortunately we didn't get the fare reduction. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, I look forward to hearing from them in the comments below.